Good afternoon, everyone. We're coming to you live from Kindred Youth Foundation. Today, we're doing a webinar on checking in on our teens. So I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to log in. Thank you. So today, we're talking about checking in on our kids, our tweens, and our teens. Hello, Josephine. How are you today? Hello, Love, Serenity, and Serenity Wellness. All right, so we have all had a rough year. Looking at COVID and being isolated for a whole year, well, a little over a year. Some of us did go back to work. Some of us, remained home. However, mental health has affected most families. And just looking at ways to help our kids, our tweens, and our teens cope. And I separate kids, tweens, and teens because we know those teenagers are, a little different. So they're, in the middle of those teenage years, as well as those little childhood years as well. So, that's a confusing stage for them and expressing themselves. Okay. So the big question is, how are you really doing? We check on our kids and we say, how are you? And they say fine. And then we walk away. But, make sure you make that eye contact, sit beside them and really check on them. Make sure they understand mental health and what mental health is. Mental health is how you think, how you feel, what you watch on TV, how it affects you, what you eat, how it affects you, how you cope, how you handle stressful situations. So having that dialogue with your kids and making sure that they understand that their feelings are valid, that what they say and express are valid, and that they're being listened to. Okay. Ways to manage during the pandemic. How do you manage? One of my favorite ways is getting outside in the sunshine, getting that vitamin D outside. There's something about the sun that really helps us out. So making sure your children get some outside time, even if it's on the patio or on the front porch, going for a walk in the neighborhood, just getting outside in the sun, practicing mindfulness, or some type of movement as well, whether it's some yoga, some stretching. Again, walking in the neighborhood or exercise videos, riding their bike, just a way to get that blood flowing and their mind moving. And make sure they're connected to their friends, whether it's a phone call or texting or a video, that you have, that they have set up maybe once a week or once every other week. So following a schedule with staying connected with their loved ones and their friends. That really helps with continuing the relationships that we have. And having a listening ear. Teach your children how to listen as well as speak and not hold things in. So if something is bothering them, you want to have that clear communication channel open where they can come to you to talk to you about what's going on with them and how to express themselves. Make sure they have some socialization moments, whether it's games, a family game night, whether you all play Monopoly or Uno or Pictionary, just fun game nights where, the family gets together and you guys communicate, enjoy each other, and just have fun. And the biggest piece is being listened to, and that's for parents as well as kids. You want to feel that someone is listening. So if you're telling someone that something is wrong, or you're expressing how you feel and you feel the person is not listening, that deter you from sharing anymore or expressing how you feel. So we want to be heard, and we want people to listen to what we have to say. So children and parents, have to remember that we're all human. So all of us, go through things, all of us make mistakes, and all of us process information in different ways. So just being listened to and heard really goes a long way. Josephine, do you have any questions or any comments? Okay, Love and Serenity. Is there a specific behavior that parents have that makes the kids feel unheard? And being an educator as well as a parent, one thing that I had to correct during the pandemic was my expectations being put on my child. So for school, my style is when you're in class, get your work done then. And after school, you have nothing to worry about. That's not my daughter's style. My daughter's style is pay attention when you're in class. Once school is over, do all your work. So I stayed on her probably about a month of getting her work done. And, while she's in class, because that's my style. But what I learned was, for her, it's hard to pay attention and do your work at the same time in class. And she had a 4.0 all school year. So every quarter was a 4.0. So I had to step back and look at what I was doing. And what I was doing was getting on her. And, she was being punished for not getting her work done during class. So when she let me know, like, look, this is stressful. I'm trying to show you how I do my work and blah, blah, blah. And it really made me take a step back and look at the stress that I'm causing her. Because if she has her method and it works, then, how I do things is totally different from how she do things. So learning and understanding that our kids are individuals. They're not us. Even though we're trying to put our values and our thought processes and our methods onto them, that doesn't always mean that we're right. So understanding that I needed to take a step back and to let her do her thing because it was working for her. So learning how to listen, because she tried to tell me, like, that's not my way. This is how I do it. But me being the mother, it's like, no, this is what you're going to do. And it just caused her more stress, and it was just too much for her. So when I took that step back and actually paid attention, I was able to see that her method was perfect for her. How can we as parents learn our kids' style to know what works for them? By listening, talking to them, having open communication, and actually listen. Because while we communicate, we don't listen all the time. Because we have all the answers in our mind. We think we have all the answers, and this is the way it's done, and you're going to listen to me, and this, that, and the other. But when you have the open communication and your child is able to express themselves freely, we learn that they know much more than we thought they did. And their thought process will amaze us a lot of times because of how they think and how they process things, and how it makes sense to them. So listening is one of the biggest pieces. We all talk, but we don't listen. And it's one thing to hear them, but it's another thing to listen. So be intentional in listening, and not quick to speak. Hello, Pele Beauty. Do you have any questions? Another good practice would be to set up family meeting day. So let's say a good downtime day for your family will be Wednesday. So like Wednesday at 6, everybody is off work, everybody's out of school, and that's a time where the family get together. It could be at dinner time, it could be after dinner when you're eating dessert, and have family meeting time. And that could be an open time for families to get together and just have communication. Judgment free. So your kids are able to speak freely. They may say, well, I don't like the way, you spoke to me when I was on the phone. You made me get off the phone and you were yelling in the background. That was embarrassing. And as a parent, looking at that and saying, okay, I understand that, but at 10 o'clock is your bedtime. So you need to be off of the phone at 9:30 and getting ready for bed. So having those conversations so that all parties are clear on respect, on boundaries, on just their feelings, and just being intentional on, your expectations and rules, or just how each other feel. So, a weekly or bi-weekly, or however your family, however it fits in your family, just having that open communication, a particular day that you can set to have family meetings to go over, any concerns, any thoughts. It could be happiness. It could be time to plan a vacation. But it's just that time that's set aside for everyone in the family, in the house, to have communication about what's going on and for you to catch up on things. So I'll go over the key points that we spoke about again. One was checking on your kids to see how they're really doing. Making sure they understand mental health and understand the components of mental health. And they're able to express their feelings and tell you their thoughts and their feelings. Looking at ways to manage their mental health during the pandemic by staying active, by eating healthy, getting exercise, staying in contact with their friends and their family members, whether it's text message, a video call, a phone call, just making sure they're staying connected and they're not feeling left out or feeling isolated. Have a listening ear and not holding things in. So talk to your kids about not holding things in, because that hurts us, and we want to get it out, and make sure we're talking to the correct people, whether it's a therapist, whether it's an auntie or uncle, whether it's your parents. Everyone needs a listening ear. And we talked about the family time, whether it's the family meeting, the family game night, just ways for you to connect with your kids in a fun way. And in a way that you can have open communication. All right, we're going to wrap this up. If there are any questions or comments, you can put them now before we wrap it up. Thank you all for joining. We will have another webinar next month. And thank you for joining.